guys, this would be my third attempt at a Facebook Live here. Hopefully the others got deleted because, well, they're just embarrassing like most Facebook Lives are. I'm sure this one will be too. Anywho, I'd like to invite you along with me to explore the high bridge. And, well, it's a high bridge. One of the highest. If I'm not mistaken, it's actually the second highest span east of the Mississippi River in the United States. And I know that I'm getting close to it because look right there. A W sign. In case you're wondering, I would imagine most of you know what that means, but if you are operating the train, that means it's time to blow the whistle. Get that nice, eerie, low G sound that gets the cars off the tracks, right? Although why you'd need to blow a whistle when you're crossing a bridge that doesn't have a railroad level crossing for cars is beyond me, but whatever, safety first. Anywho, so let's first jump into some pointless pontification. Well, actually, I don't think it's pointless. You might. And that would be about Memorial Day. I want to throw a shout out to a couple of great men. That would be Thomas Leland Moore Jr. and Colin Trent Thomas. The latter, I'm sure most of you are very familiar with. Tom died in 2013 of multiple causes, many of them attributable to his time in Vietnam. And Colin was killed in action during a tenure in Afghanistan in August 2010. Love you guys, miss you, wish you were here. You'd probably be laughing at me for this silly video right now, but I'd be perfectly okay with that. So that out of the way, for the rest of you, please don't forget the fallen. They did not forget us. As the phrase goes, all gave some, they gave all. And that is why the memorial holiday exists. Once you've done that, if you would not care, I would suggest, I did so actually earlier this morning, to make a donation to the USO. You can send care packages to soldiers overseas. That's a great way to show your respect. Or just make a general donation if you don't know someone specific. And then you are actually sending, you know, some tangible, practical expressions of your gratitude. And once you've done that, don't forget to spend some time with loved ones, friends, family, and the like. Life is short. And once you've done all that, hey, it's time for some fun and food, and in my case, exploration. Whereupon I'm going to drag you all along, if you're silly enough to actually open this video and watch it. So here is High Bridge. Obviously, they don't like pedestrians on High Bridge. There's actually a park on the near side of High Bridge that you would approach from Wilmore. But there's all kinds of signs that say keep off, and we don't want to violate those. And moreover, the access to the railroad isn't great because it passes quite a bit over the park. So what we do here is we kind of cheat the system here by finding the blank spot on the map. Now, ever since 9/11, if you pay close attention, you will find that many railroads, especially tunnels and bridges, disappear off the map. Well, I don't know why Uncle Sam thinks that's a good idea, because by blanking out spots on the map, that just makes them easier to find. In this case, what you do is trace the route from 68 to 33 to 373, and you will find that there's nothing there. That is exactly where the railroad is that leads to High Bridge. It's quite easily accessible by any vehicle. You just pull right up. The trail will lead you on to the rubble path, and then you can just take a walk. It's about 2 miles, not a difficult walk at all. And as you can see, the bridge itself, it's actually quite safe, unless you're being a complete, you know, foolhardy about it. It's provided with good, sturdy catwalks. The cross ties themselves, no room you could fall in. Although, if it makes you nervous to see through the floor, that can be a little disconcerting. So if it bothers you, well then just hop up onto the I-beam like so. It's not exactly, oops, I keep wanting to turn the phone sideways like I do for pictures. Sorry about that. The I-beam is quite wide. There's a sturdy guardrail. No tightrope walking, just take a stroll. Do watch out for the slippery bolts, though, as you step on those. They might dump you, so just have a hand ready for the rail. And of course, be on the lookout for the terrains. This is an absolute vital transportation artery that carries freight from the rail yards in Cincinnati down into Dixie. Trains pass through here at least once an hour. We're probably about due for one now because a train did pass by here just as I arrived. I just missed being able to film it. But let's have a look down below. And there is the Kentucky River. If you'll look closely on the right, again, I'm not really sure how well the camera is recording here, whether you're getting an HD picture or a 272 picture, or maybe even a, like an 80p picture. But you should be able to see the Kentucky River. We're looking upstream, coming in from the left of the Palisades, and what you'll see down there on the right, the green water, is the Dix River. And the reason that the Kentucky River looks so muddy, the Dix River so clean, and they won't mix, is right upstream is Harrington Lake Dam. So the water from the Dix River coming out of there is about 50 degrees, whereas the Kentucky River is in the upper 70s. Temperature differential, the water does not mix. And let me tell you, from kayaking, it's pretty amazing. You paddle up the Kentucky River, there's an access. Let me hop down and I'll take you over to it. Doo-doo. Just gotta watch my step here. You never ever step on the rails like I'm doing. And then up onto the cross tie. You can see there's a small power station down there. It's actually a relay station, I believe. Right down there is a houseboat. And just downstream from that houseboat, there is an access to the river. Simple little boat ramp that will get you onto the river for $2. They have a donation box there. Let's have a little look around. Anyway, as I was saying, so you hop in, easy little paddle, only about a mile upriver, and you're in the Dix. 2 more miles up the Dix, you are at Harrington Lake. But you cannot make it without porting, because there is a small set of Class 2 rapids. Excuse me. So often as not, what I find when I paddle upstream is right there at the foot of the rapids, people fishing. Met a good guy named Dan there who was in a fishing kayak. Talked to him for quite a while. Anyway, the Harrington Lake Dam has a little bit of history. It was actually built in the 20s. It has a power station, and that's what it was originally built for. Well, some flood control and power generation. It has a 20 megawatt capacity, and it is still operational to this day, albeit it is very rarely used. They generally open it up during very, very high demand, usually in the summer when everybody fires up the air conditioning, or when the Dix River itself is at high water and they need to drain out the Harrington Lake. Hey, why not generate some power while you're at it? Put it into the grid. And look at that beautiful floodplain down there. I don't know if the phone's resolution is good enough to catch it or not, but there's a couple of thoroughbreds playing. Well, probably not thoroughbreds, but I'm going to call them that anyway. And you can see all out over the Palisades. Absolutely gorgeous. We're just going to keep going down to the end, and I'll take a look down at the park itself. And I'm really, really surprised that I haven't been caught by a train yet, because we are due for one. I will most certainly get caught by one before I make it back to my vehicle. And when I do, if I have a connection, I'll do a quick Facebook Live of it, because, I mean, what's cooler than watching a train pass by, right? I don't know about you. I grew up, at least the first 5 formative years of my life, our little residence sat no less than 20 feet from the railroad, and the railroad actually was up on an embankment, which brought it level with my room. What am I hearing? Oh, look at that truck down there. His engine noise echoed off the hills, and I could have sworn there was a train on the way. Now, I may be risking myself by walking on a railroad track, but I promise you, I at least keep my head on a swivel. Every little sound is of interest. I'm not about to let one catch me by surprise. And here is High Bridge Park. Now you can see why it's a little bit easier to access from the end that I came from, the hidden side, because they've got it all fenced off all around. They want to make good and sure that nobody's going to show up from this side anyway and walk the tracks. Which is fair enough, I guess. And I've just got spotted by a truck. Go on, I'm like John Cena, you can't see me. Oh, darn it. Popped off my ACR beacon. This little guy here might save a person's life one day. Actually, I'll just go ahead and yammer about it a little bit. So this is one of my most prized pieces of equipment. This is an ACR beacon, or PLB, if you will. This guy is supposed to, theoretically, work from anywhere in the world via satellite, and it also sends out a transponder signal. The idea being, let's say, I don't know, I fell down this little nasty hole right here, broke my leg, and could not self-extricate. Well, what I would do is I would push the button, a signal would go up to the NOAA registration system. They would notify local authorities, who would then send someone out to rescue me, and, well, probably. Unfortunately, Swiss Army utility knife with all its little tools. Looky there. There's the road. And our diaphanous grid that we're walking across. And you can see the superstructure that holds this thing together. Now that I'm here, I'm actually going to pace it up just a little bit, because albeit there's plenty of room to hang on, I really don't want to look at the size of this bird up here. And he's showing no fear of me at all. What's up, friend? Are you really going to let me walk right up to you? Huh. How about that? Anyway, even though there's plenty of room to hang on and all that, these trains do vibrate these bridges. I've been caught by them before. It is not a fun experience clinging to one of these things when you have cars passing by, each one at a capacity of well over 100 tons. So, we'll try and pace it up a little bit. I'm sorry, that's actually a water treatment plant, not a electrical relay. Forgive me for being mistaken. See, what else, what other trivia can I throw out about the area? Have to stop and take a quick look around again. Really? You know, if you're going to do a penis drawing, at least try to put a little alacrity into your art. And I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm a big believer of leave it as you left, but if I was going to do some graffiti, I would at least try to, I don't know, not to embarrass myself in the process. Oh, to answer a question I've been asked on one of my other Facebook Lives on the railroad. Those rails right there, guys, I'm sorry I forgot before. Okay, that's actually pretty simple. It serves a dual purpose. One is it provides extra stability on the cross ties. The other, should the train begin to derail, the idea is one of those central rails may catch it and prevent it from going right through the rails and off into the river, which would really suck for everybody involved, don't you think? So that is why it's not a narrow gauge track that's been left over or anything like that. It's just meant as a extra safety precaution. And again, it also serves as some extra bracing along the track, since you don't have a bed underneath. Something has to absorb the incredible vibrations that a passing train produces, and that's why you have the suspension bed of rock. Well, across a bridge like this, there's nothing to absorb all that except for the railing itself. Wondrous example of engineering. I mean, have a look at that. Oops, and I'm turning it sideways again, sorry. All designed to carry the lateral and compression stress down to the piers and do so in a way that the bridge can actually vibrate without tearing itself to pieces, still withstand heat stress, still withstand contraction. Oh, and by the way, support a 3-mile long, possibly cold drag, whereas each car is pushing maybe 70 metric tons, maybe more. Marvel of engineering. And may I add that the span I'm standing on is well over 60 years in age. It's been replaced a couple of times, but it still stands strong. And here we are at the end. So, disappointingly, we didn't get to see any trains. It's about a 3-kilometer walk back to my staging point, if you will. I don't see any reason to bore you guys to death any more than I already have, so I'll sign out. If I do run into a train, which I'm sure is likely to happen, that's great use of language, isn't it? My linguistic arts tend to fall off the wayside whenever I'm on Facebook Live. Isn't that the way it always goes? Anywho, aside from my overly verbose yammering, I think it's been a nice little bit of exploration. I hope you agree with me. And barring that a train does not come and we see you very quickly, I guess I'll see you on the next exploration video. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see what Memorial Day brings. Everybody, have a safe and wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next time.